Barry Silver, big fucking win. Mashevsky, Duquan, 0.0. Barry Silver, big fucking win. Mashevsky, Duquan, 0.0. FTX, what is just a big fuck fest? Fuck fest. Caroline and SPF, I mean, shit's a big fuck fest. Left and right all day, like goddamn. Caroline and SPF.
Good morning, good evening, good night. Listen, I had no idea what was going to happen there when I pressed live. Good to see y'all on this wonderful Monday. Hopefully everything is going well in your neck of the woods. It's doing great here. We're having ourselves a great time. I'm sitting here with my main man, Gifted. He mentioned himself being a Sherpa on the GM Web3 morning show this morning. I don't hate it. I guess like an NFT Sherpa, like we're going on a NFT mountain guide with Gifted. What's up, Gif?
Yeah, why not? Your humble Tau Milk Sherpa. That's it. I don't know, bro. That was a fucking banger, like Prodigy said. I was loving that shit. That was an amazing intro song for today.
We could have let it run for like another minute. It was a full other minute. I just didn't know where it was gonna go. I just didn't know.
Go.
Did we just do it? Did we run it back?
What else do we need? Except maybe like throwing in a few more Carolines. But other than that,
that would have been. I feel like that was probably in there right after I ended it. We're gonna outro. We're gonna outro with that video, and then we'll get to the bottom of Caroline.
I want to see his hot take on Caroline hanging out in New York.
Yo, you saw that? I thought you had given up on the SBF news. I thought you were just like,
we shouldn't. It's fun to just check in on it here and there, but we don't want to spend a lot of time on it. Let's say that. Like, yeah, it's all ridiculous. His lies are absurd. His interviews are cringe, and Caroline is not in Hong Kong. She's just fucking chilling in New York. There you go. That's all you need to know. Other than people are starting to make the awesome remixes and the bangers and
at a coffee bar, nonetheless. Of course she is. She's like fulfilling the stereotype there of the Web3 person, the tech personality. Not fulfilling the stereotype of anything. That was an absolutely terrible segue, but I'll run with it. Not fulfilling the stereotype.
DJ Savage level. That was some savagery. That
is. Anyways, GIF, as we said last week, GIF is or was at Comic-Con, and he had a great time. Looks like Ben Morrow made the trip. We were wondering if he was going to actually make it.
Yeah, it was really touch and go down to the last second because there was a massive winter storm happening in the Pacific Northwest. He lives in Seattle and actually flew in. And so literally like it was the night and morning of LA Comic-Con and our panel that we found out that he was actually coming because we didn't think he was going to make it, and he made it. Got to shout out, if you want to pull that up one more time, got to shout out Ben Morrow, Huxley Saga team, Cas Vegas, the Feature.io team, Jeff Nicholas, the Warp Sound, the Warps team, and Raj Singh from National Lampoons and National Lampoon Studios, all making it out, making an awesome Web3 panel. Specifically, the topic was how Web3 is changing entertainment. And you know what? We were holding it down in the bear market out there. You know, we might have onboarded a handful of new people, and we did what we could out there in Comic-Con, but the conversation was amazing. And so just big love to them for making it.
Yo, this looks like an amazing panel. Also, shout out to Gifted's pants. Like they made an appearance. Look at that. Look, someone's got some style to them. I love to see that the slick back hair, the pants. God, sheesh. Yeah, get that pinky up. All right, we are going to move into today's episode, folks. Thank you for stopping in. We just pressed live like 5 seconds ago, so thank you guys for tuning in early. Prodigy is in the house yelling, yo, OVOT, ready for a banger Web3 show. Alexis said just came in through Twitter Spaces, so shout out to Alexis, who is getting after it here in the chat as well. Quantum Variant, Rossi Meacham as well. And of course, the wonderful Hash Rhymes is here early or late, I guess, in her time zone. But we appreciate you tuning in here. Guys, we're just getting started. We got a couple big stories that we're going to hit. ApeCoin staking just went live. I know you guys love to hear about that. Hash Rhymes was saying this is turning into an ApeCoin channel, which I don't want it to be. This is the point I was making earlier.
This is an important development. All right.
It is for various amount of reasons, and we'll kind of go through some of the details there, but also like what it means in general. If you're not holding Ape or you're not getting involved in the staking, what that means to the space, right? Like what it means if it is successful, if it's not successful, and what that looks like. Nifty Q says up your resolution for your camera. Listen, it's not the resolution. I got to figure out something with this connection. Is it happening again, Gif? Is that what's
yeah? It's his potato computer. That's what it is. Yeah, not all of us can afford in a bear market to not have a potato for a computer. So let's not shame him too bad.
Thank you.
But thanks for pointing it out at least. But maybe Q again, if you want to pull up whatever story and then make us small, it's much less noticeable than when you're full screen.
I can't do that the whole time. Hold on. It can't be that bad. It can't be that.
I mean, it's not good.
It's pretty bad.
He's checking himself out.
It's kind of bad
in the mirror. Yeah. Yes.
I don't know what we're gonna do.
I don't know. I mean, just pull up a story and you know what?
Nope.
Let's go. Also, you know what we didn't talk about this morning? That's one of the biggest trends in the NFT space right now. Apparently.
What's that?
You know what it is? This Lensa
Nope.
AI.
Okay. I thought you were gonna go with D's nuts. I thought you were gonna actually do D's nuts on NFT live. Got him. You put that in chat, and I'll be able to pull it up. I'll work on the resolution over here. I knew something was gonna fuck up as I processed that video. You know what? I'm going to blame it on Restream and not myself. But all right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to jump into quick news, and then we're going to go into ApeCoin staking as well as Apple versus Coinbase, that continuation. I've been getting a lot of hate here for not jumping into crypto Hasbulla. So this is what I'm going to do.
Well,
on today's episode.
If people are just holding you accountable for your own words.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's just people doing a good job.
You're still hating. Still hating on me.
Holding Nifty Q accountable. Everybody should be holding Nifty Q accountable to the ridiculous shit he says on this show.
Wow. Crypto Hasbulla, and I need a number. So this is essentially what's going down. Crypto Hasbulla 0.20 is the floor. So it's been holding, but it's been steadily going down. So I'm definitely going to lose money on this. But this is what I want you to do. If you're here in chat, I will purchase the most favorited crypto Hasbulla in chat. So you have to put number whatever Hasbulla, and I will purchase that Hasbulla today. It can't be it has to be in the first couple rows though. I'm not spending an ETH on crypto Hasbulla. It just makes no sense. But I know I've gotten a lot of flack for not buying one. So if you guys put there in chat which Hasbulla I'm going to be buying, I will go ahead and do that, and I will sit on Twitter. I'll make it a whole big ass thing for you guys. Other than that, we got a couple other quick news pieces. Magic Eden going with their own tool for optional royalties here. So it's like contract royalties, I believe. So details about the tool. This tool is called the Open Creator Protocol, and it is specifically for Solana-based assets. When Solana NFT creators use OCP, they can ensure they are paid royalties whenever their products get sold in the secondary market. This comes barely weeks after OpenSea launches its own tool that allows users to block marketplaces that don't enforce royalties. And while Magic Eden is not scrapping its optional royalties policy per se, this tool empowers creators to decide for themselves. And they had a nice little message from Magic Eden CEO Jack Liu. So it looks like they're making a la OpenSea there with their contract royalty tool. They're doing that on Solana. And I think importantly as well, This comes from Jack Liu, their CEO. This will only be available to creators launching new collections, but we feel many will opt into the protocol. So a little bit of an update there, at least on the Solana side, from the royalty piece there. It looks like each marketplace is going to just roll out their own tools. Is that essentially what's happening here?
Yeah, apparently. I mean, look, I am for all the marketplaces figuring out that it was extremely unpopular to throw all the artists and the royalties under the bus. So like, yeah, I'm glad. I'm just glad this. We didn't touch on this in GM Web 3 this morning yet, so I haven't dug into like the nitty gritty granular details. So if you want to unpack any of that here, I'm down to do that. Meanwhile, I'm trying to post some Lensa AI real quick. But like, look, positive to me to see the momentum has kind of turned. The momentum was clearly towards just like race to the bottom, fuck artists, fuck royalties, right? And now it seems like that's changed.
Yeah, we could pull up some of these tweets here from Magic Eden if we need to. I'm getting some Hasbulla talk here in the chat, so I will talk about this really quick. I'm trying to change the high definition as we're live. It looks like CockPunch Wednesday drop. 0.3 ETH was the final total on the price. I know we were TBD on the price there for a second. Cromer's saying Hasbulla 920. Dickenza is saying Hasbulla 183. And Prodigy's not even going there. He thinks I'm not trolling here, Prodigy. You actually have to get me a number, and if we get a consensus here, I'll get the Hasbulla so that you can get the hell off of my back. All right, I will look for the Magic Eden tools in other huge pieces of news. Speaking of Magic Eden, wow, this is making up for the segue earlier. Toys R Us in the biggest news that has ever existed for this space. This is like Sappy Seal or what was the serial piece of news the other day?
Oh, you're talking about Pudgy Penguins?
Pudgy Penguins. I thought it was like Sappy Seals.
Yeah.
This is right up there.
Yeah. That was massive.
Yeah, this is right up there. Yeah. So there's three pieces of news here, which is wild to say when it comes to Toys R Us, but they're getting ready to launch these NFTs. So there was a 10,000 Toys R Us drop. 2,000 have already been released and already sold out. So they're on the pre-sale whitelist area of this drop that is not available to the public. These are already selling out. They're $100 a piece. We get a look here at my God. All right, 6 out of 10 for me on the giraffe, and I feel like I'm being a little bit lenient here. But there's multiple pieces to this story here. We're excited to reveal our blueprint, and this was from earlier in November, so November 30th. We got a Bored Ape Yacht Club-esque roadmap from Toys R Us. Toys R Us is getting after it here in this post. And apparently with their NFT drop. So this might sell out. Like, I know, again, that's pretty low on the realm of mint price. So when CockPunch is going for 0.3 and Toys R Us is going for what I can assume is, based on price, $100, so less than 0.1, right? We can actually go in here and say, maybe it's going to sell out. A Toys R Us NFT is gonna fucking sell out. I don't know how I feel about it.
I mean, look, nostalgia tends to do well. I'm pretty sure like all the like Care Bears and like Rugrats and all those sold out and did okay. I don't know that they've done incredibly well, but like I wouldn't be surprised if it at least sells out. Like I don't know what it'll do post mint. But
top NFT collection is what I'm thinking here.
I do love the like Bored Ape-esque roadmap.
Yeah, they had somebody on staff that was like, look at what Bored Ape did. You got to do that exact same thing. I could picture the talk with whatever consultants they were working with at the time.
Everybody's curious. Everybody's always wondering what's the next Bored Ape. And I think we found it, ladies.
We did find it. We did.
I think we found the next Bored Ape.
Look, all right. So based on this picture here, okay, let's break down this picture. It says the 4th on this, which I can only assume is the launch on December 4th. Oh wait, it's past December 4th. So maybe they did something with the pre-sale list yesterday. Token required. So it's a token gated garden that looks like a maybe they're playing something. A Toys R Us IRL store. That's part of the utility, by the way, folks. If you own a Jeffrey NFT, you get to go IRL to a Toys R Us. I mean, God couldn't create better utility than that. Toys R Us Meta Store, Toys R Us Party in the fucking yacht. Could you imagine?
Wow.
Hold on. Wait, diving into this? Hey, I'm getting on that Toys R Us yacht. Are you kidding me? 10K collection.
Jeffrey the giraffe is, you know what? He knows how to party. That dude's got, he's got the best drugs. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. I mean, the drugs might be right there. What is this? This looks legit. Like there's a casket of gold here.
Yeah. What are those little nuggets of multicolored pill-looking things, huh? Oh wait, those are umbrellas.
Wow. Oh yeah, those are umbrellas. I'm talking about the gold that's here. This must be a Toys R Us airdrop that's getting ready to happen on the Toys R Us blockchain with the Toys R Us NFTs. I'm just saying.
All right. I mean, y'all let us know in the chat. Are you buying a Jeffrey giraffe? Are you getting in on this Toys R Us yacht party or what?
Look, if you didn't get into Solana before this, I don't know what's holding you back. Toys R Us launching on Magic Eden on the 9th of December. As you can tell, we're kind of giving Toys R Us a little bit of a hard time. We're kind of joking around
for this spot. That's what I want to know.
God knows what. Listen, is Toys R Us NFTs at $10,000, or I'm sorry, 10,000 NFTs, $100 each. Is that going to increase in price? I would be on the over. I would be on the over.
Y'all heard it here first. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not gonna bet against a legacy brand as big as Toys R Us that has that much, affinity from our childhoods. It's silly as fuck, and obviously, they're trying to be like Bored Apes, which I think is also silly as fuck. But I'm not gonna bet against it doing at least decently well.
I could, based on the entry point, I can't see it doing that terribly. You can't lose that much value.
Honestly, you know what I think is
You know what I think is
0.06
or something.
The worst part about this project.
What's
it's
up?
On Solana.
We had a Solana Maxi in the chat in GM Web3 Morning Show this morning.
Yeah, we had a.
I don't know.
I think it was Soulproof, or I don't remember the name of his integration, whatever. But we had a Solana dev come through and talking about what he's been building to integrate and onboard people into Solana through WordPress, which actually sounds pretty cool. Maybe we'll get him on the show more because he seemed to know a lot about Solana and building with Solana. So yeah, you know what?
If he ever comes back.
He was definitely saying the other side of the story, which is again why developers like Solana, the transaction speed, the volume, the scalability. He was talking about a lot of that, which is that's not necessarily going away. A lot of that's still there. Mm-hmm. But I think right now, at least with where things are, I mean, you could argue Solana's cheaper. Maybe it's a good time.
All right, I just fixed the camera issues. I knew what it was the entire time. Dickens is saying slightly confused on the age demographic for this. So if Solana wasn't getting fudded for having teenagers on the platform already, we have now 8-year-olds on Solana here that are going to be part of the Toys R Us store.
Most 8-year-olds, I feel never knew the beauty of entering into a Toys R Us establishment. I don't think this is for the current 8-year-olds. I think it's for the 8-year-olds that live inside of us 30-year-olds, 35-year-olds.
Okay. All right. The crypto Hasbulla comments as well.
Have a phantom wallet. What are we talking about here?
More than you think. Okay, 1924, 920, and 1994. So what are we doing here?
Pull them up.
I got it. Hold on. 19. Okay, 920, 183. Have we hit any? You guys want me to? Okay, 920. Let's see.
Oh, it's a cowboy.
183.
It's a robot cowboy.
They want me to spend. This is too much to be spending. You guys are going all the way down the list.
They're trying to help you find the right traits, Q.
920, 183. I'm all over.
You're not just gonna get a floor Hasbulla, are you? Like you're not.
What is this? What R barb?
Yeah, sure.
What?
Yeah, you don't know our Barbie?
R Barbie? That I don't know about that one. I like the cowboy hat. I do like the cowboy hat.
It's like a cowboy hat cyborg.
1924 is the cheapest one. This is a full floor. I'm horny. I want NFTs.
This guy's just going. And then I love my grandpa also. This is a lot of messaging. A lot of conflicting messages going on here.
But it's also the floor. It's also the cheapest one. 69 or 420 for the culture. I'm sure those aren't cheap. And we will look at this Crystal Hasbullas. I will pick one before the show is out. 1924 look like a cheap one. I'll look at the rest of your guys' comments. Blur airdrop. Do we know anything about the Blur airdrop happening?
Another thing I meant to hit on this.
Is it Blur too?
I think it's like tomorrow or the next day is the cutoff. So I need to go list a bunch of shit today. That's what I know because I've been slacking. I don't think I'm going to make out very well from this next airdrop because I haven't been doing much. But I believe the cutoff is. I heard it was 10x. I think the cutoff is like tomorrow.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll keep a lookout on that. I'm not using Blur honestly, so I did not participate here or get to participate, I guess you should say, in that airdrop. All right, we're going to talk ape staking here in a second, and we're also going to talk Apple versus Coinbase. I guess we could probably talk about Apple versus Coinbase first.
I'm just going to ignore my Lensa AI. All right, that's fine.
Oh, Lensa AI. Dude, I looked at some of this AI shit over the weekend. Scares the absolute living fuck out of me. Let's see what we got, especially as a content creator. What are you having me pull up?
And now we're all feeding it images of our faces. So
why are you doing this to me?
Look, this is the hottest trend in NFT culture right now is Lensa AI, and
okay.
I started doing some yesterday. Here's a couple. Here's just a taste of some of.
Is this Jesus?
Some of the AI. That's one of the superhero versions of a GIF. So that's two. So the question here is fuck, marry, kill. Sci-fi GIF, superhero GIF, or cyborg GIF? You tell us in the comments.
So you have to kill the cyborg GIF because you can't really trust him to not be like an autonomous robot. Superhero GIF, I'd probably marry, and then whatever's going on over here, just like. Yeah.
So you're fucking it, apparently.
Oh shit! Damn it! All right.
Wow.
Well,
Q and I just got closer together, I think.
Fully off the rails on today's episode here, but we will get to the next and probably one of the bigger stories that's happened over the past week here. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Coinbase wallet disables iOS NFT transfers following Apple pushback. This was the tweet thread that came out from Coinbase wallet, basically explaining that Apple wants their cut of the gas fee that is paid to the node operators on Ethereum now. So essentially what were the miners on Ethereum that were getting paid for mining transactions on the network are now node operators, stakers essentially, and they get paid a certain amount of the gas fee so that there can be transactions going through on Ethereum. Coinbase now has to pay Apple for these transactions. So when this first dropped, we were kind of all over the place with what we wanted or what we saw from Apple doing this to Coinbase. We were like, this is almost an impossibility. The more that I've been able to kind of look at this, I've been able to see like it's not. There's ways you can get around it, right? So Coinbase essentially most likely will have to make an off-chain transaction to Apple that says, hey, this is the amount that we paid in gas fees, and here's your 30% cut. Now that really, really sucks for Coinbase, which I think actually is coming back to the point that they've now disabled NFT transactions and trading on the Coinbase NFT app on Apple phones. So the roundabout way of saying this is where we're at today. There's a whole bunch of questions as to why this is happening. Why is Apple doing this? And we got down to the bottom of a little bit of it on GM Web3, but we could touch on it today.
We cracked the whole code. What do you mean? We had some of our resident experts like Andy James in there. Just, I don't know. I feel like we really got to the bottom of it this morning. No, it's not always easy to see what Apple's seeing. They've got all the data in the world, and they're usually several steps ahead of all of us. Obviously, a big part of this is to protect their existing business model and their interests. But also, they might be just thinking about the future where they want to be positioning themselves within the larger ecosystem, or even regulatory, like what's going to be happening from a regulatory standpoint. I think one of the most interesting points that we ended up getting to is that what this signifies, or likely signifies, is that NFTs are an asset class, and that's how everything's going to be categorized. And so they're treating NFTs differently than like exchanges, crypto exchanges, or stock exchanges. They're treating them like objects and assets in a way that is not similar to a currency. Because Coinbase Wallet is a separate app from the main Coinbase app, which is a currency, a crypto exchange that also operates on iOS, that is not getting charged 30% on every single transaction. So what's the difference, right? It's how they're being classified.
Yeah, I think Robinhood was brought up as well to expound on this point. It's like, okay, so every time a user trades on Robinhood, they're not charging a fee to Robinhood to make that happen. Whereas now in this scenario, when someone's trading an NFT to another individual, they're asking for essentially a fee on that transaction, like even beyond what you would normally get. So there's a lot of things to break down here. I think we went down the rabbit hole of like, is Apple creating their own NFT marketplace? Is Apple going to create, I think you were saying, like a layer 1 or layer 2? Are they essentially going to stop Coinbase NFT from transacting or pay the damn gas fee? So now you're paying double on the gas fee front, which makes them do what they just did, which is disable NFT transactions and then come in and try to be a competitor. That's one devil's advocate argument. What are your thoughts on
initially I was like, oh, well, why wouldn't Apple of all companies have their own blockchain or create a layer 1 solution? But the more we talked about it, that probably doesn't make the most sense based on what Apple's business really is, which is about creating the frictionless rails for everybody else to transact. And so I think I was kind of swayed away from that, from Quantum Variant, from Andy James and others. I think it's probably less likely that they try and create their own crypto as much as maybe create their own competitive marketplace. But either way, try and be as agnostic as they can for all the different cryptos to operate in their space within their own rules and guidelines, but make it as frictionless for their consumer base, for their adopters, the people that are in the Apple ecosystem. Make it as frictionless and as convenient and as easy as possible for you, the consumer. And why, like that frictionless experience, that high-end experience of transacting on their hardware, on their software, on their systems, you'll pay a little bit more for that. And that's been their business model the whole time, is a premium brand, a premium experience, so they can charge premium prices for that. And I think that's where they're going to try and get to. And I think it's smart for them to stay as agnostic as possible, not commit to their own chain and trying to do that or competing with other chains, but just maybe a marketplace. But either way, making it as agnostic and open for everybody as long as they abide by certain rules.
Yeah, in that rule now being right, with at least the parameters they're putting on Coinbase, that Coinbase is going to have to pay a fee in order for this to happen. Coinbase decided, hey, we're just not going to do this. This is all short term. We'll see where it all goes from here. But right now, Coinbase has disabled NFT transactions on the mobile app. This already comes. I want to share one quick thing, Gift. Like, I have the data dashboards from Dune Analytics here, which you have to do your own research. Sometimes it's a little bit more off than how can I say this? You just have to kind of look through the numbers, right? Because the analytics sometimes can really show you the wrong picture, or like at least prove something that maybe you're already seeing. So the point that I'm trying to make here is volume in the past 24 hours is $500. Last 7 days, 20K. Volume all time is 7 million. So again, I preface this with saying, hey, what do these stats like actually look like? Some, maybe Dune Analytics is not seeing, or this dashboard is not seeing the right things, but this isn't a lot of transactions to begin with, right? Like there's a competition here between.
I think it's more about what does it mean for people who are part of the ecosystem trying to develop and expand the ecosystem. And because here's the thing, whether or not Coinbase Coinbase NFT has been massive so far, the potential for Coinbase to onboard millions of people and bring in a bunch more people is huge, right? And so it's more about looking at the damage or how much harder that this can be making it for the proliferation of Web3 and NFT tech moving forward. And you could see a world where new hardware and software, operating systems start to come out that are Web3 native, Web3 integrated. So a lot of people have talked a lot about the Solana phone. People are now speculating even about, Elon Musk maybe wanting to create his own phone or hardware as a competitive, some other alternative solution. Everybody obviously talks about Android being a better solution, at least, in their opinion. You could see a world, I think a bifurcated world where Apple is only for certain marketplaces that, have a certain business model or arrangement, and then everybody else kind of exists. It's almost like, Binance and Ethereum, like BNB chain versus, ETH or something like that. Like I could see there being more than one, big ecosystems in the space because of what they enable or what they allow on their operating system. Because I think the truth here is that Apple is going to be difficult, and it's not going to work for everybody.
Yeah, especially with those of us that are Web3 native, right? They're going to introduce a lot of the parameters that we're just simply not used to when it comes to like dealing with NFT transactions and what we've been doing since the start of this movement. I do want to bring up Uniswap NFT as well. I did bring up the competition there between LooksRare, Coinbase NFT, and OpenSea. And Coinbase NFT, again, not really even on the map compared to the other two. But Uniswap just launched. If anybody... I would really, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to incorporate revisiting some of the stuff that we cover on NFT Live. Like that to me actually is important. We cover a lot of shit on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, and just kind of like covering the moment and then not revisiting that is not getting to the bottom of it, essentially, right?
It is downright irresponsible, Q. So thank you for this initiative.
If you want to go down that route, you can. Uniswap daily transactions, again, this is going to be a long-term project, much like Coinbase NFT. Like you can't just say, okay, there's X amount of transactions happening today, therefore it's a failure. But we do see that like spike in initial transactions the day it was launched, and then you see kind of a dip down to 149 transactions having happened today here, and 150 yesterday. So not a lot of traction on that front when it comes to Uniswap NFT. But again, give it some time. Let's see where it is in 6 months. But I think it's valuable to kind of look at what we're actually dealing with when we get a Uniswap announcement. It was a huge announcement. but it's also really, 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 really fucking hard to get a consistent user base that isn't OpenSea at this point. I mean, you could see it. The data shows it. Even though we talk shit about OpenSea all the time, they clearly have a large market share.
Can we pull those stats back up?
The Uniswap or the Coinbase NFT OpenSea?
Uniswap. Okay. Because I actually think this is a very interesting thing to be revisiting, because they just launched a week ago, basically.
November 30th. Yep. A little bit less.
So they've had over 1,600 transactions.
Looks like it.
But also, yeah, keep in mind, this is, I'm guessing, like, these are transactions actually on their marketplace specifically. Not like, I'm guessing this isn't tracking all of the transactions that are being.
It does.
Okay, so this is tracking everything, even that's just being what's like facilitated through their platform,
aggregated essentially. Yeah. So it looks like based on this one, Uniswap NFT daily by marketplace, it looks like 337 of like a daily transaction on the 30th of November were OpenSea. The next closest being X2 Y2. So these are the aggregated stats that are happening on that platform.
Yeah, well, it's not. I wouldn't call it a bad start, but it's a slow start.
It's yeah. I mean, again, it just highlights the importance of the market share that OpenSea does have. Like, you can't just kind of like it launched with a little bit of fanfare. They had a nice little flashy looking video there, but that doesn't necessarily lead to long-term growth. So it's not going to be like out the gate they're competing even with Looks Rare or Blur. Even I would need to look at Blur as well, but I think they're doing extremely well.
Well, again, this is their launch. Again, we've talked about it several times. Their airdrop mechanism of like drawing this out over 6 months, I think, is really smart. Like they really innovated on the concept of what an airdrop is in terms of how they're gamifying it and drawing it out. And making it a blind reveal on a fucking airdrop too.
Yeah. I mean, does this completely fall off after airdrop number 2?
No, not completely.
Right, we're getting both airdrops. No, see,
again, this is the benefit of drawing it out, is you create habits over months of people returning back to your platform, your service. It's that repeat behavior and people investing more time and energy into it that gets them stuck into it, right? So no, this is why it's so smart, is that yes, will some drop off? Absolutely. But they probably have a prediction on, like, we expect 50% or a 30% drop off. Like, they've probably modeled for what the drop off is going to be. But there's going to be a lot of people that are using it now that are going to be loyal to it now, that have that built-in behavior, and also are going to be happy that they got the airdrop and feel some kind of, affinity.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a model that hasn't been done before. Uniswap did that with their initial airdrop. They like brought in a ton of people to the platform. We're like, hey, you're getting X amount of cash, from us. Here's the platform. Check it out.
Well, and I think it'll be interesting to see also if Uniswap can do another airdrop, or if they have plans for a future airdrop to help. Now they're kind of like testing out the NFT thing. I don't know if this is a beta, but it's like the initial launch. Maybe they can do a bigger, airdrop in a couple months or something. I don't know.
Yeah, last chart I'm bringing up from the marketplace perspective. Over the last 90 days, 75% of NFT transactions that they're tracking from like the large marketplaces have been OpenSea. The next closest is Gem, and then Blur, and and then X2Y2.
Isn't Gem Uniswap?
No, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think Gem XYZ. It wasn't Gem XYZ. It was the Genie.
I thought it was...
Yeah.
You sure?
Marty McFly's always come. Hey, right. Marty. By the way, you're here. You caught up to us. That'll be in 15 minutes when he listens on 2X because he's starting from the beginning and he's saying, "Cool, she loaned you her pants." GIF. What? I think that's a mention to your Comic-Con events. Any rebuttal here to Marty McFly?
I don't need to no. Good one, bud.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Well, drop in your last comments here with Apple and Coinbase. Again, Coinbase taking the approach of, all right, we're shutting down NFT transactions, which maybe Apple was kind of expecting. Maybe they weren't. Maybe they thought they were going to get a little bit more revenue. Now they're not going to receive anything from the Coinbase side. But we'll be following whether Coinbase can figure something out with Apple as far as the gas fees are concerned. So any last comments there on Coinbase Apple, you let us know. Otherwise, we will move on to our last piece here, which is ApeCoin staking. If you have any other stories, drop them in the damn chat. Let us know what we need to pull up, and we can do that. Apparently, CockPunch is going live here this week. 0.3 is the mint price. Do we have any thoughts on a 0.3 mint price for CockPunch?
It's too high. Like, period. It's too high.
It's too damn high.
That's not to say that it's not going to still do well. I think, to be honest, I'm still bullish on it doing well, which is why they're probably able to justify this high mint price. So yeah, I think it's too high, but it'll probably still do well.
The details here from the Twitter thread. I'll be emailing winners directly this weekend or Monday with more details, assuming you provided a valid email address. Recap: Wednesday, the 7th, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard for the allow list, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard for the wait list, and then it goes live at 12 for the public. It'll be 1 hour and then 1 hour for allow list, 1 hour for wait list, and then 24 hours public, 0.3, and then they're capping it at 1 per wallet, which is good to see for that NFT distribution to holder piece there. I probably lean on your side. I think it's going to do well. I think, Tim feels like he's getting it together on the Web3 side. I do, Marty had a bunch of comments as far as it's related to whether he was going to continue with the project if in, some realm he doesn't find it fun, quote unquote, over the next year or two. I think that there's going to be like multiple different NFTs coming out of this project at this point. I think he's going to go into the future and be a pretty strong.
I agree. I think, though, the one concern I have about that is that, like, when I think of things like D&D or long form, ELF, emergent long fiction, right? This concept of stringing out a story across platforms, across time, through the community, like, it sounds really cool in theory. But if that means that, like, as a participant wanting to experience and participate in the storytelling aspects, then I'm having to like keep minting like new NFTs at each stage. That's not cool. That's a really awful experience. And I think that's the one thing that I worry about with something like this is if it's like, if it becomes,
you could airdrop them.
You could. That would be a much better way, or finding really scalable solutions. But I don't know if he's doing anything with Polygon in parallel or whatever. So again, this is my worry with something like this, is that trying to tell a story on a blockchain, on Ethereum specifically, can be very expensive. And if you're expecting people to keep minting a bunch of things just to get into the story, that's not going to be good. CockPunch first podcast already dropped today. That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm about to drop it actually in the chat. Definitely taking a look after we go live here at that first episode. I don't know. I just want to see what the format is. Like, what essentially does this even look like? He kind of laid, again, the foundation and the details. I hesitate to even say details because he gave us a sparse amount of information as to what this is going to look like. He really left it open, as you said, with that ELF model. So even seeing this first episode, it'll be interesting to give that a listen. Otherwise, we will move on to the last story here, which is going to be ApeCoin staking. please leave a like before I say not financial advice. Please leave a like on the episode. It does help us proliferate the information out into the netherverse here for people that want to get more info on NFTs and Web3 and get involved in what we're doing here. So we appreciate y'all doing that. That would really help out. Otherwise, let's get into ApeCoin staking. We got this big announcement from Horizon Labs, which is, again, the company that ApeCoin DAO tabbed as making the interface to interact with the contracts that will be interacted with to get this distribution of ApeCoin. So this is from Horizon Labs again. Ape staking update. The day is finally here. Ape holders, apestake.io is now live. Pre-commitment period starts now. Go to apestake.io, connect your wallet, stake your position. On December 12th, rewards start accruing. So before I start this again, I do want to preface this with saying, one, not financial advice. Nothing that I'm saying is related to staking should be actually implemented by anyone. This is just us up here talking about this stuff and the hypotheticals. The other thing is, like, I want to be very cognizant of the people that don't have ApeCoin or aren't doing any staking. This, to me, when I look out across the NFT and Web3 space, it matters if it goes poorly. Or it matters if it goes well. I don't want to just be up here saying, this is what we're doing for ApeCoin. This is kind of, like the details, and we're going to talk about apes and we're going to suck them off for fucking 20 hours. What we're looking at is whether this staking contract goes well, whether the price of ApeCoin absolutely fucking tanks to a cent, which, again, I'm being a little facetious there. I think it could be negatively affected. We've talked about that for the last 2-3 weeks. The point I'm trying to make is, like, I want to look at how this impacts the entire space, right? Not just the details on the specific staking piece. So, if it does poorly, I guess, like, what does that even look like? And then what does it mean for the space in general?
I think it has more potential to do harm than good. Because, again, like, I'm not gonna try and sound like a broken record here, but because right now so much of the total NFT market is wrapped up in the Yuga ecosystem, and again, this is like the next big hurdle or opportunity for collectors to get value out of participating. If it goes poorly, and people react negatively to it and start to lose faith in what Yuga's been working on, that, I think, has a lot of negative potential for the whole space. Whereas if it goes well, like, yes, that is bullish, but I think that the positive ripples out from that will not go as far. I mean, they could. You could see a lot of other people starting to say, hey, we're going to do something similar, or start working on staking or innovating in the staking and DeFi space with NFTs more because of its success. I just see the more clear and obvious path for negative sentiment and people wanting to bail on Yuga, et cetera, if something bad happens.
When you say something bad happens, you don't mean like the supply, there's like the overtime, the token does poorly. You're talking about like a negative event happening.
Yeah, something like it just like you could even see like a month or two out, people are basically saying, like, the coin drops, people are saying that it's not worth it. Yeah, I think Quantum Bear is right. Like, define going well or going badly. I think going well is that it's actually rewarding for all the effort, for all the work, and for whatever investment that you've put into the space. You feel like you are getting something of reasonable value out, right? I mean, and what that looks like is going to look different for each person. But, like, if you're staking a couple $1,000s worth of ApeCoin and you can get a monthly payout of like a couple hundred or something, like, shit, that's a good fucking payoff, right? To me, one of the most obvious things that can go wrong is, okay, if something were to happen with the tech, with the front end or the contract in any way, that's an obvious fucking catastrophic.
That has to stand
That's a
out right away. Yeah.
the other obvious one is that the coin just does not hold value at all, and like within a couple months is at like 50 cents or something. Um,
Mhm.
that's a really bad situation.
Yep.
So those are the two obvious negatives for me.
That has to stand out right away. Like again, I hate to use I feel like we've been using the term Black Swan event with the SBF and FTX stuff, but there is a possibility for that. Again, Yuga having an outsized influence on the space. If like for some reason the contract is hacked, which more likely what's going to happen is the third party apps are going to take advantage of people who won't have good like security hygiene, and you'll see apes getting wiped. Or like NFT assets getting wiped, potentially tokens getting wiped. That's the more likely scenario. So what I think is going poorly, or what I think going poorly would look like, is if a good percentage of apes, and I'm saying like even 10% that interact with what's going on with staking, if something bad happens, like a third party app that those apes were using is like somehow able to wipe again the NFTs or the ERC20 tokens. If that's the case, then this was a failure, and we have that come through with Horizon Labs saying, no, US users can't, or North American users can't interact with this contract. So again, not going well to me would be like a good amount of the community getting rugged because they're not able to use Horizon Labs. That's to me.
Also Marty
Marty's saying ApeCoin buyer at $1. Even $1 for if Ape holds $1, I think people are still making money. Like
maybe
that's the thing.
Not much, but like a little
Yeah.
bit. But I think as far as defining success, it's kind of the opposite of the negatives, right? If the tech works reasonably well, a lot of people are able to get in without too much friction, and it holds up and doesn't break or get hacked. That's a win. So people trust the tech more, and they're not as worried about the risks of scams and whatever. If there aren't any massive scams in general that happen, to me, that's also a win because the opportunity is there for so much to go wrong. And then if the coin actually holds reasonable value, and maybe to Q's point, if we're being generous, if it can hold above $1 through the next 6 months, I mean, that's at least to Q's point, returning something. At that point, it's not very much. Like honestly, I'd be a little bit disappointed if it went down to $1, if I'm being honest. But also, people are making something. It's not nothing. I do think $1 is an interesting threshold because if it dips below $1 at that point, it's also a psychological threshold, and people will probably start bailing more. And so I do think if it can hold $1 or above over the next 6 months, it's probably a win also.
So ApeCoin's sitting at 394 right now, and I'm not going to bring this chart up too much. It touched 425 in the last 24 hours, which is the highest I think it's been since last week at 440. But in general, this has kind of been the area that it's touched. $5 in November. So the one point that I do want to kind of get to is that this almost forces Yuga, in my opinion, and ApeCoin DAO and all these things to kind of get a move on with utility pieces. Because again, I think the low-hanging fruit is ApeCoin being diluted, like added to the market, is going to dilute the current value and the current holders of that token, especially the ones that, for whatever reason, don't participate in staking. So what do they add? Does this really make it so we have some type of announcement here, which I think is going to happen? I think we're going to get something here in the next week as it's related to other side. And that I'll probably stick my reputation on something happening again with Yuga in December. Like something has to be added here outside of just staking. The NFTs are getting utility. The NFTs could be bought up. We saw, I think Mutants ran up to 14. I think they were sitting at like, if I can get this floor right. Damn, they were shit. See, they went down to like 9 ETH here relatively
What
recently.
are you talking about mutants? What are you talking about?
Yeah, mutants. Yeah, so mutants are. I was looking at mutants specifically because the pool percentage looked pretty juicy, right? And the cap wasn't 800 ape. You know, you can only put up so much ape with the kennel club, and I think you needed another asset as well. With the mutant, you just need the mutant, and it's not fucking 80 ETH like you would need for a bored ape. So I was looking specifically at the mutants to see what would happen. And they've touched a little bit here in the last 30 days. Like people, I think I'm probably going to buy a mutant as well to be able to use all of the ape that I have.
Yeah, well, I agree with what Quantum Variant and what you're saying, Q, and that I'm sure that they've been very, very focused not only on making sure that the staking can get live, but like what are the sort of follow up announcements of utility or integrations or things like that post that to help, because I'm sure they're not just launching staking and hoping that it's going to be fine by itself, right? That it, like in a vacuum it's just going to do great. It's like, no, they need to keep providing some kind of utility. But Quantum Variant says if you pull up the ETH versus ape chart, it's not as bad as you think. I don't know if we're able to pull that up. Here we go.
Yeah, so blue is going to be ApeCoin price, and red is going to be the Ethereum to ApeCoin ratio. So yeah, it doesn't look that bad. It's actually matching up with ETH pretty heavily, which is what you want to see. You know, you don't want to see your token going down and the ETH this red here going, you know, to skyrocket. Essentially, is what you don't want to see. So.
Love it. Shout out.
Actually, no. What you actually want to see with this ratio is the red to hold. I think you don't want that red to completely plummet. I need to look at that one more time, but I appreciate you pulling that up. Again, the ETH to ape ratio is important because ETH's gone down a ton, so that drags everything down with it. Okay, so a couple different. If you guys have any questions related to ApeCoin, again, we don't want to like sit here and to Marty's point, suck the apes off for 20 hours. Thank you, Jacob. Put that into a quote, please. Actually, don't do that. How we get involved? So again, me and Gif have been talking about this for the last month. Like, how are we going to do this? What does it look like for North American users? Hypothetically, do not do what I'm saying at all. There is an option here to just go with a simple VPN, right? To trust Horizon Labs, go with a VPN, and just interact with the staking contract and make sure that you're interacting with it with that interface, having the VPN on at those times. That is a fair thing for someone to want to do. Past that, what you're looking for over the next 7 days, I think rewards start accruing on the 12th. So no one's actually gaining rewards until the next week, Monday. What you want to probably do is just look at the third-party apps that people are going with. I haven't seen one. I've seen like Para. I wouldn't want to put my foot in my mouth here, but there are a couple that have gone live that are saying that, you know, use our third-party app so that you can stake here as well.
So what did you find?
So
like, did you actually research any of them, or you just like started and you're like, nah, I can't really find any good info?
It wasn't any like heavy hitters, right? Like the reason why Horizon Labs is pretty easy to just like pass your security concerns onto is that it's backed by the ApeCoin DAO. Like at the end of the day, you're kind of putting the reputation of the DAO and ApeCoin, and, you know, I wouldn't say Yuga, but they haven't come out and said no, you know? So like there's this support behind Horizon Labs. The other ones are just, you know, take your pick. So what I'm going to look for is like, where are people interacting with the most? So third party app, who's interacting with it the most? And that puts a little bit of reputation behind, you know, it's not just random. So we have to wait a couple days is what I'm getting at.
Good to know. Yeah, well, I haven't signed up for a VPN yet, so I don't know if I will or not. We'll see.
Yeah. The concern with the VPN is that you go to the website without having your VPN on, right? Like if you go to the website without your VPN on, the concern then is like, is the is that application going to just like completely block you then on out? Now I'm oversimplifying, but that is like one concern if you're going the VPN route, interacting with the Horizon Labs platform.
I'm not a VPN expert. We got to get one on. Maybe I can get Jen Stein to come on the show. I don't know.
These APYs are holding. I would love to actually like talk through the actual technical details here on what's happening. But these are the APYs. We'll see what they do as it's related to the token price. Any last questions, guys? Drop it in chat. Prediction on it going well. Oh,
I don't even want to speculate.
I think it really has.
I don't know.
It really has. Good VPN recommendations. NordVPN, Hide My Ass VPN are two that I would recommend. Again, I just say this hypothetically, so not financial
totally
or
hypothetical situation here.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah. I got you. I got you, bro. Yeah, I got you. I got you covered.
So it looks like the first hour, it looks like 700,000 ape were deposited. Of course, this is again in the first hour. I think a lot of people are doing what we're doing, which is just like waiting. Again, until the 12th, you don't have to do anything. So over the next 3-4 days, you might see a little bit more ape news on this network. We're not an ApeCoin news network by any means, but we're covering the biggest stuff in the space. We're getting some Nord recommendations there. Dead Polaroid is saying Nord is good. So yeah, I mean, again, I think with this ApeCoin stuff, it's let's revisit this over the next 48 hours. What's going to happen in the next 48? How many people are interacting with Horizon Labs? How many people are just doing it themselves? There's a lot of people that are just interacting with the contract directly. And then what are some other third-party apps that pop up? If there's a dope one, if there's a one that's like genuinely seen as good and secure, I'll probably run with that.
Hey, I'm with you. I'm watching it, man. I'm paying attention because I'm going to do something. Just don't know what yet.
Marty is saying, as tech guys, you should have a VPN 100% of the time. Like me, I use Nord. Listen, I feel like I have a fucking VPN on right now with my camera quality this episode. So we'll definitely get a look at that as we go forward. So hopefully that's fixed. But yeah, I mean, we covered Apple, we covered Coinbase. What's going on with them? We covered ApeCoin staking. Again, last recommendation, wait and see. This is really just the first announcement from Horizon Labs. We'll come back in 48 hours and over the next week and see what the deal is, if it's worth the risk, essentially, is what everyone's asking themselves.
There it is. Smash the like. Let's go. Subscribe. That's it. We didn't really do a CTA, Q. I don't know. I feel like we slept on the CTA today. So you know what?
We hit 'em.
This is a late CTA just for the fam hanging out with us. It really helps if you hit that like button. It really goes a long way. So we appreciate you. And that's it.
I think you were busy looking up the fuck, marry, kill image when I was making my CTA. So not that it didn't provide a ton of value to the show. Don't get me wrong. So, all right. We are getting up out of here, folks. We will see you tomorrow, GM Web3 Morning Show early. That is going to be at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard. And then we follow that up with NFT Live here at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for tuning in today. Thanks for everybody that were giving their opinions on ApeCoin staking, on Apple and Coinbase, and those that told me which crypto Hasbulla to buy, which I'm going to take a look at right now and post on Twitter.
We're going to be talking about this 3 weeks from now. He's still not going to pull the trigger. I don't think he's very Hasbullish. I don't think I think you're has bearish, Q.
Well, you're Hasbullying me here, so shit. So we are going to get out of here. Our Tribe. Peace out.